Good Friday, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith, and on this Arctic cold Friday, in advance of snow, sleet, and rain for the weekend, we got all your weather details coming up in today's video forecast discussion for Friday, the 16th of December, 2016. Generally clear to partly cloudy skies across the forecast region this morning with Arctic air in place. Temperatures are generally all running in the teens. We have a few interior locations here in the higher elevations of the Poconos and southeastern New York State's Hudson Valley, even interior extreme northern New Jersey, like places like Wantage, for example, where temperatures this morning are still below 10 degrees. But all temperatures are generally running in the teens this morning. The winds are still gusting out on the ocean, but they're dying off a little bit as we head into the inland areas. But even a slight wind of 5 or 10 miles an hour with these temperatures makes the wind chill feel even that much chillier. And we can see from Rutgers Weather Lab this morning, the air temperatures are still hovering in the single digits here across interior Sussex County, New Jersey, where everybody else is basically in the teens. The wind chill values, factoring that in, it makes it feel like it's in the single digits and at times just the teens across the area, even to the coast where it's very chilly this morning. And the dew points are bone dry this morning. They're generally running at about 0 to a couple of degrees above 0 this morning. So very, very bone dry air in place, and hopefully we can take a look at the water vapor channel this morning. It's bone dry. Infrared imagery this morning is very dry as well. And on the visible this morning, there's really nothing going on. Visible action this morning, cirrus clouds developing to our southwest, and skies are thickening out over to our west and southwest this morning, even on the water vapor channel across the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley area here. Clouds are increasing on the water vapor channel as the beginning front end of this precipitation event overruns the cold dome of air that is in place over the forecast region this morning. On the aviation weather deck today, we have VFR conditions expected for the day with an increase in high and mid-level clouds. The wind should favor a westerly direction this morning, backing to the southwest this afternoon at about 5 to 10 knots, so a lot calmer than it was around here yesterday. Tonight should begin with VFR. However, snow is forecast to build into our region from the west after about midnight or so. Conditions will likely deteriorate rapidly tonight, falling into the IFR range. The snow is expected to transition back to sleet and freezing rain and then to rain on Saturday from southeast to northwest as a warm front moves through the region. Low conditions are forecasted to prevail on Saturday as well. The wind is expected to be light and variable tonight, and they should become more south to southwest on Saturday at around 5 to 10 knots. Saturday night and Sunday, rain and fog across the terminals, predominantly IFR conditions. There may be a break in the precipitation during Saturday night, especially south and east. Southwest winds Saturday night becoming northwest by late Sunday, gusting to around 20 knots as the cold front comes through. Sunday night through Tuesday, VFR under high pressure. Well, it's cold. It's 16 degrees right now outside of Newark, dew point 3 Fahrenheit, humidity 57%. The wind is out of the southwest, almost due west at about 14. Few clouds at around 3,000 feet, and the wind chill at 2. VFR conditions in place now, lowering and thickening clouds throughout the afternoon, and snow arrives very late tonight at the terminals. Philadelphia is also 16 degrees, dew point 1, humidity 52%. The wind is out of the west at 9. Few clouds at around the region this morning, and the wind chill at about 5. Same story, snow building in across the region late tonight into tomorrow morning before transitioning to ice pellets and then rain. Right now we'll do your snow and ice totals for the forecast period beginning from late tonight into tomorrow morning. We'll get into the advisories in just a moment. They all start at around 10 o'clock tonight. Now for tomorrow, through tomorrow evening, the most likely scenario is to have the 4 to 6 inch range here above in Sussex and the Poconos here. Belvedere at 3 to 4, Morristown somewhere between 2 and 3. When we get towards I-95 and south of that, New Brunswick about 1 to 2, and then they begin to taper down as we get to Toms River at less than an inch, and also less than an inch of snow at Atlantic City before everything goes over. That is the most likely. The potential exists still for as much as 4 inches in Morristown, as much as 5 or 6 inches here in the Poconos and Sussex County. And if we take a look at the most likely glazing here, about 1/100th of an inch or so, we're not expecting too much in the way of ice with a rapid transition over to sleet and then rain across the forecast period. But the prolonged period could be a little bit higher here across southeastern Pennsylvania late tonight, early tomorrow morning, as the transition over to sleet is going to be met with a little bit of hindrance here. If we get into the forecast here, for the period, most likely snow across eastern Jersey, the Hudson River Valley area. You can see the totals at about 3 to 4 in Paramus, 4 to 6 in New Milford. Newark at about 2 to 3, generally 1 to 2 in the city. New York City proper and eastern Long Island. The higher amounts here as you get it up towards White Plains and Bridgeport, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snow. And interior Connecticut, that's where the 4 to 6 inch pileup occurs. As far as the icing over the top of the snow, as everything starts to change around here in precipitation type here, we're going to find anywhere from a third, 3/100ths of an inch to 4/100ths of an inch in ice glaze over the top of that snowpack by tomorrow morning and to tomorrow afternoon and evening before everything goes over to rain. And we're generally looking at about a 1/2 of an inch to an inch of overall precipitation throughout the forecast period. Here are the watches, warnings, and advisories for the area. We basically are all covered in a winter weather advisory of some sort through various time periods during the day. Tomorrow, the further north and west you go and northeast you go, these advisories will extend into the afternoon hours across the Hudson River Valley area. They'll start beginning to change over and diminish as we head into the New York City, northeastern New Jersey, Newark corridor during the later morning hours. And they will extend over the interior portions of the Poconos and northwestern New Jersey until Saturday afternoon and evening as the variable transitions of precipitation type continue to occur. Meanwhile, on the ocean fronts, we have small craft advisories until 9 a.m. on Friday, and also for the south and east ends of Long Island, we have gale warnings until 10 a.m. Friday, and basically small craft advisories on the North Shore as well through Saturday. Yo-yo ride in temperatures today as we retreat the Arctic air mass that's in place. Temperatures will still be running generally in the 20s to around 30 around the coast. Saturday, everything begins to warm up, but slowly across the northwestern areas here, and the further north you go, this changeover to the warming will be slower as the warm front will still be building in right along the coast and to the south and west, and it'll be arced in such a fashion to make it look a little bit more convoluted. But the warm air from off the ocean will be pushing in, the warm front from the south will be pushing in, so this nice little wedge here where temperatures are going to struggle in the 30s before the warm air begins to take over. By Sunday, we're in the warm sector here, ahead of a cold front out to our west, so temperatures are going to be much milder as they get into the 50s. So it's quite a contrast from the 20s and around 30 today to the mid-50s on Sunday with the rain and possibly ending briefly as some wet snowflakes. We'll get into that in a minute. No accumulation on the back end of this. Temperatures fall back with the Arctic front or another cold front passing through the region on Monday. Temperatures falling back into the 20s to lower 30s. And they pretty much remain on target. They're in the 30s pretty much on Tuesday, warming up a little bit into the lower 40s on Wednesday, and nicely through the 40s back to near normal again, close to 50 degrees in some spots as we head into Thursday. And the forecast starts out with the 3-kilometer parallel composite reflectivity from the NAM. This is something new that Tropical Tidbits Levi Cohen has been posting on his models page, which is good. It's a convective model, but at the 3-kilometer level, so it's going to detect a little bit more of the actual state of the atmosphere. Now we see the snow coming in after midnight here from southwest to northeast. What the model does is with that burst of low-level jet coming in and the warming aloft, it's really going to start coming down and piling up really quickly after 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Even in the city, northern New Jersey begins to start mixing out with a little bit of ice pellets and sleet here south and around Philadelphia. The I-95 corridor are changing into sleet and rain composites here. And early in the morning, probably at around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, that's where the sleet and snow mixture going over to rain in various areas here in northern New Jersey, the lower Hudson Valley area. This is where the snow piles up on the front end, and we can see what the model is doing here. It's mixing the moderate to heavy sleet and snow changing over to rain here as we get into the late morning hours, and then everything just goes over to rain. Now by Saturday afternoon, it starts tapering down the further west you go, and just left over with some drizzle and fog and just a muck out there, a muck and mire of what's ever left on the ground. And then we await the cold front to come through, and that cold front will be moving through the region early on Sunday afternoon, and ahead of that will be a line of showers that will move through the region and could possibly end as a little bit of wet snowflakes, not shown in this diagram, but we'll take a look at the 4-kilometer model here and see if we can push this along. use the 12-kilometer model. And it's just a slight chance of a leftover snowflake in the air on Sunday afternoon and evening before everything begins to dry out. High pressure begins to build into the forecast region once again for the beginning part of the week. And that means some cold air with moderating temperatures by the midweek period, but dry. So bring out the snow shovels, the snow blowers, the ice scrapers, basically all your winter weather gear. You're going to need it over the next 48 hours. For everything live, it's GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. I'm forecaster Robert Smith. You be safe out there, and we'll see you bright and early on Saturday morning.